Let us now understand how to solve problems involving equations. Peter has 85 cents in nickels and dimes. He has 2 more nickels than dimes. How many nickels and dimes does he have? I'd like you to pause the video, solve the question, and then look into my suggestion. That will give you good practice for your test. Now let's read the question and define the variables. That is my first suggestion. Peter has 85 cents in nickels and dimes. Well, in this question, we can use dollars and write decimals, or we could use cents and avoid decimals. So we have both the options. So what I will do is that I will use dollars and work with decimals. But what you can do is avoid decimals and work with cents. Okay. Now let's go back to the question. Peter has $0 and 85 cents. So 85 cents in nickels and dimes. He has 2 more nickels than dimes. How many nickels and dimes does he have? It's a good idea to read your problem twice. Now let's define the variables. What we need is how many nickels and dimes does he have? So we need to define variables for nickels and dimes. So we can say let the number of nickels and dimes be N and D respectively. Now it's a good idea to use variables which make sense, N for nickel and D for dimes, right? So we defined our variables. Now let's get back to the currency. Nickel means what? The value of nickel is 5 cents and the value of dime is 10 cents, right? Now nickel has 85 cents in nickels and dimes. So Peter has 85 cents in nickels and dimes. That means what? If there are n nickels, then what is the value of n nickels? Each nickel is 5 cents. So n nickels will be 0.05, that is in dollars. $0.05 means 5 cents of n times, right? Plus each dime is 10 cents, right? So we'll write this, and the total value is 0.85. So that is how you get your first equation, correct? So that is what I'll write as equation number 1. Now remember, I was saying you could have written this as multiply everything by 100, right? If you do that, you get 5 nickels, 1 dime, and 85 as a number here. So that's actually a good idea to do, right? Now, should we do it? Okay, let me work with decimals because I know that is tougher, and we'll do without decimals later. The next statement is he has 2 more nickels than dimes. So nickels are more, right? And therefore we can write nickels equals to dimes plus 2, right? And that is our equation number 2. So that is how we get 2 equations. We have 2 equations, 2 variables, so we can always solve for both of them. So that's the idea. Now we can do substitution, right? So now let's substitute. So I'm writing sub equation 2 in equation 1, right? So what I'm trying to say is the value of n is d plus 2. Let's write it here. Then what happens? We get 0.05, and instead of n I write d plus 2, right? Plus 0.10 equals to 0.85. Now in this step, you will appreciate we have only one variable, so we can solve for it, right? So let's combine those d's. So we get 0.05d, open the bracket, 2 times 0.05 is 0.10 plus 0.10d equals to 0.85. I'm purposely working in 2 decimal places. So whenever you have currency involved, work in 2 decimal places. So now 0.05 and 0.10 is how much? It is not 0.06, okay? It is 0.15, okay? So let's write down that. it is 0.15d plus 0.10 equals to 0.85. Now from here we can solve for d as 0.15d equals to 0.85, take away 0.10, right? Let's move on to the right side of the page and solve. So let me rewrite this equation here. It is 0.15d equals to 0.85 minus 0.10 will be 0.75, correct? And therefore dividing both sides by 0.15, we get 0.75 divided by 0.15 equals to what? So it is equals to, use the calculator, correct? Easy. So do 0.75 divided by 0.15 and you get your answer as 5. So the number of times is 5. So we can say, well, let this be equation number 3 for us, right? So we know number of times, how many nickels. So what we can do is now substitute 3 in 2, right? I hope you understand my nomenclature now. Substitute the value of d from 3 in equation 2, right? So once you do that, you get n as equals to dime plus 2, 5 plus 2, which is equals to 7. So we get nickels as 7. And now it's a good idea to write down your answer as a complete statement. It says, how many nickels and dimes does he have? So we can write he has 7 nickels, right? And 5 dimes. So that is how we should solve such questions, right? Now, as I was saying, what you could have done is solve everything in cents, right? In that case, your equation would be 0.5 means 5 cents and 0.10 means 10 dimes, right? So your equation would have been to solve. So let me just write it on the side, or let me push the page a bit and now write down your new equation. It could have been 5 nickels plus 10 dimes equals to 85. So that is your equation number 1. And the second one remains the same, which is n equals to d plus 2. Solving this could have been easier for you, avoiding decimals, right? So that's a good idea. So in that case, you'll get the same answer, but lesser level of difficulty, I should say. But anyway, you can do now. You can solve this equation using these equations. Get your answer. Check it out. I hope you appreciate it. Thank you and all the best.